What's going on, Falcons fans? Hey, man, look, one more game to go, preseason coming up. It's your boy Toby D, and you know I got my man over there, JR, Pound for Pound ATL. And tonight, man, we ready to jump on into it, JR. What's
Oh
going
man,
on,
nothing
man?
much, yo. Just trying to get wrap this preseason up, and something that we noticed in that first preseason game that then was like, all right, let's kind of hold our cards and see if it's something they're going to keep doing. And obviously we saw it in the second preseason game, so we felt like, okay, this is obviously something that we need to talk about, need to be uh, reporting on, I guess you could say. And that is
Yeah.
the uptick in use of the pistol formation. And as you can see with the diagram that's behind me and Toby, also the use of a diamond formation out of the pistol set. So that was something extremely interesting as we didn't do it last year with Arthur Smith. And I even went back and looked in his Tennessee days, and it wasn't something that they did in Tennessee with Tannehill. So it must be something that they felt like could benefit them, obviously, with the skill guys that they have now, the offensive line, the quarterbacks. And so we felt like, man, then that's something that we needed to jump on and that we needed to look into and that we needed to discuss. So here we are discussing the pistol.
Boy, hey, I tell you what, man. You know the saying goes, "It's better late than never,"
Right.
and it looks like they feel that way about Marcus Mariota. Yeah, he's going on 29 years old, but they believe that they can recapture some of them Oregon days that he had over there. And
Mm-hmm.
I sent you that article about how much pistol formation variations that they added into their offense. I wasn't trying to rhyme that, but it just happened like Jesse Jackson. I couldn't help it. But nonetheless, that's exactly what we saw, that Mariota during his Heisman Trophy winning days had a lot of success out of them pistol formations. And now, ironically, we come back around to it. And JR, as you were saying, looks like Ridder has some experience with it as well.
Right. It was something that, like, once we picked it up and or once we got to looking at it, I said, okay, what's the advantage here? Like, what's the point? Why do it, right? And for if y'all don't know or realize, I'm gonna throw you up a picture here. Okay, this is from the game on Saturday, no Monday rather, excuse me. And what the pistol is it's not as deep of a setback as a shotgun. It's anywhere from 3 to 5 yards. What I noticed is that we did a lot of 5 yard. The quarterback being 5 yards behind the offensive line. Traditional shotgun is he was 7 yards, but
Mm-hmm.
pistol is anywhere from 3 to 5. But what really makes the pistol to pistol, not necessarily how deep the quarterback is, but it's the fact that the running back is 3 yards directly behind the quarterback. As you can see here, you got Ridder lined up with Quadre Olison directly behind him at about 3 yards back. Now, you ask yourself, what? Okay, so what's the point there? What that ends up doing is bringing some like I formation tendencies into a spread offense. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you're still and what Arthur Smith has done has taken like spread tendencies, added to condensed formations, and now adding in more of an I formation look, which they would get to when they were under center. But now
Mm-hmm.
this gives you kind of like the best of both worlds, right? You get the I formation look, and you get the fact that your quarterback is a few yards back, so he's upright, right? He's up tall. He can scan the entire field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Arthur Smith's game from Tennessee days all the way up is to give the quarterback as much information as he can give him.
Yep.
He's trying to force the defense to declare what they're going to do. He does that with motions. He does that with formations, and now he does that with personnel. And now he's adding in yet another wrinkle with this pistol. See, with the running back being an I formation, what I was, I was reading on the philosophies of like the pistols and stuff like that. So with the running back being in I formation, the defense cannot key in on which way he's going,
Yeah.
right? So they
Mm-hmm.
have to like defend both gaps. In traditional shotgun, when you had the running back beside you, either which either side, you were pretty much guaranteed he was only going one direction because he had to cross the face of the quarterback to get the ball.
Right.
Right? You're not gonna,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you ever saw a quarterback just handing it that way and the running back going the way he was going. Right? So I thought that was extremely interesting, and you saw it a lot of the substantial runs that we had in the Detroit game and the Jets game
Yep.
came
Mm-hmm.
out of that like pistol set with the I formation style running.
Yeah, the whole thing is like what you just said, JR, is unpredictability. And I think they felt like they had some of that with Matt Ryan because, nothing against Matt Ryan. We love Matt Ryan. But the traditional style of Matt Ryan wasn't allowing them to be able to have the
Right.
unpredictability that they wanted to have. Now, I got a little secret for you. If I'm not mistaken, in that Miami game, they did show a diamond look. But of course, with Matt Ryan, it's
Right.
just a look. It's nothing else above that because you don't have the threat of a mobile QB that makes it the type of threat that that diamond look will present, which we're seeing out of Ridder.
Right. Exactly. No, that's exactly right. That's the part that they haven't necessarily shown in the preseason yet, per se. And we'll get into that here in just a minute. It is those what I'm calling the true quarterback read part of it. Like like you've had them
Right.
like doing the true like riding that and then pulling at the last second. Like that's going to be part of the
Yeah.
game and part of the plan, but that's part of the deal that they seem to be holding back in preseason is the true like RPO style or the true design run part, the true RPO part
Yeah.
of the quarterbacks
Mm-hmm.
running, which is great because you got to hold some of this like some stuff back, but you want to see the
Yeah.
formations working, the guys knowing how they're going to be moving in these formations, because not only are you getting the formations, you're getting like the tight ends going in the H back, going in, you're seeing a lot with the H back in the sense of the Parker Hesse, and like now I would almost
Mm-hmm.
consider Keith Smith more of an H back than a fullback because that's how he's getting lined up. He's getting motioned all over the place too. He's not lining up as just strictly a fullback. So that's another interesting aspect of it.
Yeah, and they've been so you was talking about
Mm-hmm.
the pistol and how it gives you that sense of the
Right.
high formation, right? Then you take it a step further, and we're talking about the H back where they would put either a tight end or the fullback
Correct.
Keith Smith in the middle instead of having him declare which side that it looks like you're going to run on, if it's the right lined up behind the right guard or it's to the left lined up behind the left guard. So by them having them in the middle like that, that also makes the defense have to figure out which direction that you are either going to be running the ball or the play action that we've
And
been seeing
yep.
off the pistol formations and that single eye, formation with the fullback or tight end in the middle of the formation between Ridder or Marcus
I
Mariota
mean,
and the running
just
back.
by like running that pistol, running that I formation, and having that quarterback turn like he has to do to give the ball every play, whether it's run or it's pass, looks the same. And by
There you
doing
go.
that, that play action then becomes deadly because it'll freeze the linebackers
Mm-hmm.
just for a split second because they're
Yep.
like they got to see is it a run or is it a pass, and all that is also maybe why you're seeing like them not be as concerned, so to speak, about the offensive line as we are, concerned, because
Mm-hmm.
all these things in concert together help the offensive lineman. I mean, how
Yep.
bad, like individually, how many times over the past few years have we seen, Shanahan take a reject offensive lineman and be able to turn
Yeah.
him into a serviceable player. Well, you'd seem to remember
Yeah.
Arthur Smith did the same thing in Tennessee. One of their deep playoff runs, he had Ty Sombrello and a handful of other cast-offs on the offensive line, and they
Yeah.
were still able to get it done. And that was because of things like motions and the threat of Tannehill being able to scoot out the back door and pick up the first down. All these things help the offensive linemen look better and play better. And I think this
Yeah.
pistol formation is yet another aspect of it.
Yeah, yeah. And you just wait till they start adding the zone read element to it, what they've been holding back. Because another thing that's an advantage about the pistol is improving your inside zone running
Yep.
game as well. And so when you're able to fake that inside zone and actually apply that zone read to it where the quarterback holds on to it and takes it and cuts to the outside, which we saw, although Marcus didn't use the pistol when he was with the Raiders, we saw him do that out of the
Right.
shotgun with Josh Jacobs, where he would fake it like Jacobs was going to run the inside zone, and he just cut it to the outside with the ball himself, and he's gone for about 15 yards down the field
Right.
before you
And I
even
mean,
touch him.
all day long, like, this is a full on copycat league, right? We've been watching this
Yeah,
go on in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson for the past few years,
yeah,
and they've been very successful at it. They've gotten their run game
yeah,
going. It first trotted out with that high, what they called the Heisman formation with Robert Griffin, Lamar Jackson, and
yeah,
Mark Ingram. But it's the same concept. You're just trying to give your quarterback as much pre-snap information to help determine where he needs to go with the ball, and you're making it post-snap easier on him. And like
yeah.
that kind of stuff is
Mm-hmm.
going to benefit Ritter, his development, and may, you know, give us a 4 to 5 year window possibly with Mariota. It'd be interesting to see, like, barring that he stays healthy. Now he had some throws in
Yeah,
the Jets game that were a little too reminiscent of his previous years, like throwing behind guys and stuff like that. But it does seem like the coaching staff is going to do everything they can to make it as easy as possible.
yeah, and
Now
yeah.
I want to take a minute to go
No,
ahead
go
and
ahead.
talk about this diamond formation. All
Yes,
right, now
sir.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
throw this
boy.
up there because this for sure, I can't remember the last time I saw this in a Falcons uniform, where you have like flanked by the quarterback is flanked by a running back and a tight end, and then he is
Mm-hmm.
behind him is uh, a running back. Now in this particular formation, you
Yep.
have Bernhardt on one end, and I think it's Darby on the other side. But when you tend to line up in this type of a formation, like, you're almost declaring to the defense that you're running, because
Yeah.
these type of deals, something we'll get here and talk about here in just a minute. These type of formations lend themselves to like the power run game, and it does seem like
Mm-hmm.
the Falcons are also trying to add a little bit of a power element back into this outside zone scheme,
Yep.
and I think they're going to do that with this type of a formation. And like I said, we'll get into that here in a second. But one of the things that I love about Smith is his love of throwing out of these formations. Like in that
Mm-hmm.
particular
Yep.
play, you had Bernhardt come all the way across. He had an in breaking route from his position and picked up I think a 14 or 15 yard gain out of there.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
Right.
End up being a first
And
down.
so
Yeah.
that was something that I noted when we profiled Coach Smith, a couple years ago, was how much he liked to like condense people down and throw out of what were obvious run situations.
Mm-hmm.
Like what he's
Yep.
trying to do is to, you know, put the defense in, conflicting situations. Making them declare what
Yeah.
they have to do
Yeah.
and put them in conflicting situations.
Yeah. And see, the other thing I like about these pistols and diamond formations, JR, it gives you
Right.
another way to run your
Mm-hmm.
offense, right? you can run them quick screens, which we saw on a pistol formation where Ridder hit on a quick screen. It didn't go for about 3 yards, but still you're able to run your quick screens out of there. And we did that a lot. Just imagine Drake London running those quick screens as big as he is,
Right, and not
streaking
just him,
down
but like
there. And
the one
I don't
that,
want
that
to touch
stood
him.
out to me, one of the plays that stood out to me was Michael Pruitt on that tight end screen.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yep,
I
yep,
hadn't seen a tight end like doing that for us since since Shanahan was here. So I think the
yeah,
people who were upset with like vanilla style play calling last year, or what they perceived to be vanilla style, I think are going to be a lot happier this year with a lot more creative play calling on
yeah,
Sundays. Unless I'm just completely wrong, but they are showing in these two preseason games that we've seen so far, they're showing a lot more diverse play calling.
yeah. And the sad and the scary part about it, we don't even know what types of tags they've added on to this stuff that they're doing. Like because we just don't know, right? And
Right.
New Orleans don't know either. So you're really just seeing
I
them
mean,
lay
if
down the basis, the
this
foundation
is the
of what they're
vanilla
doing.
version of this offense, right? So it's like if this is the vanilla stuff, and we're seeing, diamond formations, we're seeing uh, three tight end sets rolling out there. You're seeing, and then like you said, this is all without Drake London, without a full
Yeah.
scale, like fully involved Kyle Pitts for a full game, and you saw what he did against
Mm-hmm.
the Jets. A 54-yard pickup. I mean, he absolutely just
Yeah.
burnt the corner. Like they're, I know that for a while I was, sounded like almost like a curmudgeon talking about like the mobility of quarterbacks not being vital, and I'm not saying it's vital now, but it definitely adds another dimension that we haven't had. That's going to give these
Yeah.
defenses more things that they're going to have to worry about.
There you go. And you can only focus on so much in a game plan. You're going to have to make a business decision on what it is you're going to focus on. And if you focus wrong, they're going to kill you
Right.
with what you couldn't focus on. I don't know why I'm rhyming
Well,
tonight, but it just
I'm about to
happened.
say,
Maybe I'm
look,
just
when we
excited
get done
about
with
what
this
I'm
tonight,
seeing.
you're gonna have to go record a song or something. You got it flowing today. Uh, but one aspect that I was thinking about was obviously in the run game, it's a numbers game, right? Uh, you know,
Yeah,
and generally speaking, in your power schemes, you have a pulling guard. All right. Um, Generally, it's the left guard who's pulling uh, most of the time. And you could have a right guard pulling, but
yeah,
for the most time, it's a left guard, and you're pulling to, um, generally the strong side, which is wherever the tight end's lined up at. But I was thinking about like
yeah,
out of this pistol, it allows you, especially this diamond, it allows you to put somebody like a Keith Smith, like a Parker Heath, to really these defenses aren't going to know which side is the strong side of the formation, right? Like so,
right,
say you got Mariota
right.
out there and he's flanked by Fisker and like Smith with Williams, CP or Olison or whoever, doesn't matter, Algier, doesn't matter, behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you break that huddle and that's what you get into, the defense can't declare which side is the strong side because you're flanked
Right.
by essentially a tight end on each side, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
a strong blocking
Yep.
presence. And now if you have the tight end crossing the face, and then like you can really overload one side of the formation and get some favorable numbers in
Yep.
the run game. And I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, like I said, man, it just lays everything out on the menu for a quarterback. You trying to take deep shots, you can't take it. It makes your swing passes look more undetectable, and it can make your, like I
Right.
said, the quick
Yep.
screens undetectable too. So you have these quick outs that are more accessible
Mm-hmm.
to the QB when they're in these diamond formations. although you can have that in the shotgun too, it's like having everything for the quarterback
Right.
on a plate that he can get into quicker than what he
Exactly.
normally
And this,
would.
like the league itself, is cyclical in nature, right? Old things become
Yeah,
new, new things become old. We spent years
yeah,
spreading out the field. Now you're starting to see teams starting to condense it back down. Make use
yeah,
of, trying to overpower these sideline to sideline quick like linebackers, and
yeah,
start bringing more numbers into the box to then blow it open to where you have big run games. And,
yeah,
eventually the defense will adjust again and we'll start getting, 250, 260 plus pound, linebacker thumpers again, especially if more teams find success with this, like the Baltimore. And you can laugh all you want to, but the Rams
yeah,
do that condensed stuff real well. And they just won a Super Bowl.
yeah,
So if you're having a lot more teams, you know, finding success with these older, notions, these older philosophies, like modernizing these older philosophies, um, it could be, spark a really interesting time in the NFL.
yeah. And the one thing we got to mention, the whole plan is to get you out of that nickel
Yeah.
defense as much as I can, right? So if I'm coming out here in these heavy formations, and that's another thing we notice about these pistols and diamonds, you can run them also in heavier
Yep.
sets like 12, 22, 21, all the stuff that we ran the most with 12 and 21 and 22 formations. So they're being able to do that, and I force you to have to play in your base a lot more. And while I'm using the formation, because I'm gambling on my speed being faster than what you bring out there in your base defense, JR, we might have ourselves
Well, I mean
mismatch
that's
heavy.
that's that's what
I'm
you're
telling you,
pushing for. That's exactly what you're pushing for.
yeah,
When you go out and you draft a 6'6", 240 freak of a tight end, and then follow it up by
yeah,
drafting a 6'4", contested catch receiver. Like
yeah,
that's what you're pushing for. You're pushing for mismatches. You're pushing for positionless football. You're pushing for um, you know
yeah,
ultimate like balance. Now you're pushing for being able
yeah,
to run out there in one formation, and if you want to stay in that formation, have a bunch of different keys, have a bunch of different tags,
mm-hmm,
and then have you have your same guys, and you're able to run your whole offense out of one formation,
yep,
and
yep,
that's where you start
wow,
like putting the defense, like you said, you get them into a nickel package,
yeah,
or not a nickel package, you get them into a base package to where you don't have the extra pass defender on the field, and then you start
mm-hmm,
throwing the ball out of these heavy sets. You start making them declare, okay,
yeah,
how do you view my tight end? How do you view this X receiver?
yep,
Like you're declaring how you view them by
mm,
who you guard them with. Like you got Kyle Pitts
mm-hmm,
starting in like directly behind the tackles, right at the beginning. And
yeah,
then you motion him out, and you're having when you motion him out, you're having to declare who you are going to guard him with and what coverage you are in,
wow,
right? Right.
I'm
Like
getting
do
goosebumps.
you roll out a linebacker? Do you roll a corner over to Kyle Pitts? Do you roll a safety down there? Like, and
Mm-hmm,
so I would imagine that the first few plays of a game, you're going to see, you know, a bunch of different formations because they're going to try to figure out, what's
yeah,
favorable, for them, and how to go about, attacking a defense.
yeah. Man, I'm excited. I hope, Lord, please let this be how we seen it. Cause man, I'm telling you right now, if it's anything of what we saying, JR, from what we've seen so far, and not just at the preseason, we
Right.
saw this stuff in practice. In the last practice, we saw, man, it could be a fun day for Falcons fans, man.
Right. And
I
like I
really
said, man,
believe
you start thinking about, like, you take these diamond formations and you put, surrounding Marcus Mariota, you start out in a diamond and you got CP84 on one side, you got, Kyle Pitt standing on the other side and Algier behind him.
it.
And then now you
Man,
motion, Kyle Pitts out to the slot, right? And now you got CP and Algier, or and then you're sending CP on a wheel route out of the backfield, and then handing the ball to Algier,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like there's a lot of
Wow.
fun things you can do, and I think this fits the personnel that we have um,
Yeah.
very well with him. And I think this is honestly, I think this is what they would wanted to have done last year, but without the threat
Yeah.
of a run in the quarterback position, uh, a lot of that stuff gets like mute in a way. I mean,
Yeah.
just by
Mm-hmm.
having the threat
Yep.
of Mariota taking off running or Ridder taking off
Yeah.
running, you know, that's
Yeah.
a bigger thing than I gave credit for in the offseason.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and admit it, Jr.
Oh,
You
dude, come
just as
on.
excited as I am for
Hey,
the possibility of what
I
could be.
I thoroughly enjoy like doing different things, right? Like
Yeah.
brief story, like when I first decided that I was gonna watch football, I had to choose between Georgia and Georgia Tech, right? No allegiance to either one.
Yeah.
And I chose Georgia Tech just because I was like, oh well, Georgia's got enough fans. Long story short, I'm no longer necessarily a college football fan anymore. But one thing I did like about Tech is at the time they had Paul Johnson, and that was the first year
Yeah.
of Paul Johnson in
Mm-hmm.
'08, and he brought in that triple option. And buddy, when that triple option was
Yeah.
working, that was fun to watch. Uh,
Yeah.
Now when it wasn't working,
Yeah.
it was painful to watch. But uh, and in that
Yeah. For
aspect, I
years.
enjoy when a team starts doing something different. And at the NFL level, the differences become minute, and it's like you get into like the minutia of football to see the differences. But when I saw
Yeah.
them rolling out with this diamond formation, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I was like, that's a full house right there. Like, I ain't seen us do
Yeah.
that, and that really caught my attention.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe this is just a fluke thing. But no, they kept, you know, they were
Yep.
they were under center, they were in pistol, or they were in this diamond formation.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that seems like that's what
Man,
we are going to run this year.
I tell you what, if you had 20 popular plays, you would be able to run them undetected in any
And you want
formation
to,
that you want. And at the end of the day, I believe that's exactly where they're trying to go, where they can take them 20 or so popular plays that they have success off of and
yep.
run it out of all the formations
And
that
you
we
have
just talked
guys
about.
that can run them all. I mean,
Yeah.
that it was almost like I don't know what the actual, it was a post route that Zacchaeus ran for the touchdown. But it was
Yeah.
a
You're right.
long arcing post route. But it got cleared
Yeah.
out by
Yeah.
the inside post route that Darby ran. And it created that real big
Mm-hmm.
window. And that's something that we're starting to see now more often, like you brought it up on the live stream. We're starting to see, these wide receivers like running wide open, these tight ends running wide open. You're
Yeah.
starting to see
Yeah.
that running through mud is starting to produce what you're wanting, which is guys
Yeah.
popping wide open to green grass. So yeah, I am. I'll fully
Mm-hmm.
admit I am definitely excited for at least to watch what this offense does, because I think it's going to be at least fun to
Yeah.
watch this year. I've been saying I don't know how much success it's going to generate, at least with the talent that we have, because it's not like we got
Yeah.
a ton of top tier talent in a lot of places, right? On the offense, you got
Yeah.
all pro quality in your tight end. You're hoping that you're going to have that in your wide receiver. The quarterbacks are
Right.
still up in the air. You know what I'm saying? But I really feel like it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
a much more like entertaining brand of football than we've had in a while.
That's what Arthur Smith said. He said it should be an exciting brand of football this year. So
And I think
I believe it,
I think
man.
they're going to do well with it. Is there anything
Yeah.
else you need to add, my man?
Yeah. Man, I'm super excited. I can probably talk about this all night, man. I know we got to
Well,
cut that thing.
I'm gonna be there tomorrow night. So if anybody else is gonna be at the games, y'all holler at me, and we'll be back on Tuesday, talking about the preseason game and getting ready for
Yeah.
the final cut downs. The getting ready for the season to start in earnest. And man, you're right. I tried not to
It's
be
here.
like I'm not overly optimistic in a sense of what it's going to be. I'm trying to like curtail my what my gauge of success is, but I am excited to see
Yeah.
live football and see how the team is going to perform. Year two, more like more looking like I think the team that Arthur Smith wants. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
but anyway, as
Hmm.
always, y'all can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128, GRIMM1128. Toby.
Toby D
And
1991.
links are in the bio if you want merch, if you want Patreon, all that good stuff. And yeah, man, as always, Falcons fans, rise up.
Eyes up.